Good morning. Welcome to Reading the Science of Mind, a philosophy of faith, a way of life in 1 year. My name is Reverend Rafe Ellis, and I am the Senior Minister and Spiritual Leader of the Center for Spiritual Living Common Ground in Central Maryland. Today is January 4th. And I invite you to read along. I will show slides that have the references, and I encourage you to share your perspectives and your thoughts and your questions in the chat, and we will follow up with those so that we begin to create an informal but engaged study conversation for all of us. So I think that's a little easier to read for all of us. So this morning we're reading from page 25, paragraph 1 through page 26, paragraph 5. The thing itself. We all look forward to the day when science and religion shall walk hand in hand through the visible to the invisible. Science knows nothing of opinion, but recognizes a government of law whose principles are universal. Yet any scientist who refuses to accept intangible values has no adequate basis for the values which they have already discovered. Revelation must keep with reason, and religion with law, while intuition is ever spreading its wings for greater flights. And science must justify faith in the invisible. To suppose that the creative intelligence of the universe would create humans in bondage and leave them bound would be to dishonor the creative power which we call God. To suppose that God could make humans as individual without leaving them to discover themselves would be to suppose an impossibility. Individuality must be spontaneous. It can never be automatic. The seed of freedom must be planted in the innermost being of humans. But like the prodigal son, or the prodigal daughter, or the prodigal child, we must make the great discovery for ourselves. We see abundance in the universe. We cannot count the grains of sand on a single beach. The earth contains untold riches, and the very air is vibrant with power. Why then is anyone weak, poor, and afraid? The science of mind deals with these questions. The divine plan is one of freedom. Bondage is not God ordained. Freedom is the birthright of every living soul. All instinctively feel this. The truth points to freedom under law. Thus, the inherent nature of humanity is forever seeking to express itself in terms of freedom. We do well to listen to this inner voice, for it tells us of a life wonderful in its scope, of a love beyond our fondest dreams, of a freedom which the soul craves. But the great love of the universe must be one of the great law of its own being. And we approach love through the law. This, then, is the teaching, love and law. And as love of God is perfect, so the law of God also is perfect. We must understand both. Whatever the nature of any principle may be, insofar as it is understood by anyone, it may be understood by all who take time to investigate. This does not require any unusual degree of intelligence, but rather a practical application of what we now know in order that we may increase our knowledge. The study of the science of mind is a study of first cause, spirit, mind, or that invisible essence, that ultimate stuff and intelligence from which everything comes, the power back of creation itself, the thing itself. We accept this thing and believe in it. What we desire is to know more about it and how to use it. From proof alone, we know we are dealing with a definite principle. If one, through the conscious use of their knowledge, can produce a certain result, they must know that they must know with what they are dealing with. It may seem as though, in dealing with metaphysics, we are dealing with something that is too abstract. But what is tangible other than results? Principles are forever hidden from our eyes. We accept the deductions of science insofar as they are proved, and we recognize that they are built upon immutable but invisible principles. And so that's the reading for today. It's a lot to take in. And I really invite you to argue with these teachings. If you are not clear what they mean, to take it apart, to wrestle with it, to wrestle with your own beliefs, and just see where it leads you. One of the beautiful things about this teaching is that it lends itself to, as Holmes talks about in, I think it's the third slide, the proof, right? But principles are forever hidden from our eyes. All that means is that we're using the invisible to prove the visible. And it's every level. I mean, it's one of the things I cherish about metaphysics and science of mind, is that it really encompasses that commonality, that common ground, if you will, of science, of religion, of philosophy, of psychology. It brings all of the pieces together. And we all have a different twist on how we understand it. And I think that's normal and wonderful, provided we're understanding the same thing. We can't use this teaching in duality, because there's only one thing. Let me see if I can find it here. The divine plan is one of freedom. Bondage is not God ordained. Freedom is the birthright of every soul, the activity of creation. We are the activity of creation. Right? Freedom is our birthright, and we all instinctively feel this. The truth points to freedom under law. Thus, the inherent nature of humanity is forever seeking to express itself in terms of freedom. I think one of the biggest challenges we face as humanity as a whole is this birthright of freedom, this desire to express freedom in a culture that oftentimes seeks to repress freedom to seek power. Because collectively we really don't seem to grasp the concept of one power everywhere present, and that everybody is it manifest in form. We're still navigating the lie of separation. We're still navigating the lie that one person can actually be more powerful than another. And while we can certainly behave in a way that expresses power over and suppresses another human being, it will never make any one of us inherently more powerful than the other. And that I think is our biggest social wrestling match. Perhaps, and I say this very tongue-in-cheek, yet with some sincerity, that perhaps going back to the spiritual sandbox, to spiritual kindergarten, and learning to share is the answer. Yeah. So I'm going to take us into our time of meditation and contemplation. And I will close us out with a spiritual mind treatment. So allowing this next breath to take me deeper, deeper into the essence of being, deeper into the awareness and recognition that there is only one power everywhere present, one substance, one source that is all of creation. One whole, complete, and perfect triune beingness. Consciousness itself, quantum field, energy, spirit. Whatever we call it, it is beyond a name. It is indefinable, unlimited. It is pure principle, and it is pure law. It is pure substance, known by many, many names: God, the great mystery, Spirit, the divine, love, life. Each one describing an experience of this infinite beingness. And yet it is so much more than can ever be encompassed in a single name. It is the essence of who I am. It is the substance of my being. It is expressing itself as the life that I live, creating out of itself to experience itself, to expand itself. I know that I am an intentional, one of a kind, never to be repeated desire of creation to express itself as me. And I know that what is true of me is equally true of all creation, beyond just the human, all creation, animal, vegetable, mineral, gas, the visible and the invisible, form and the unformed. I claim, I celebrate the truth of being. And I know that as I go through this day, every interaction I have is an interaction with this infinite first cause, infinite self-existent substance. There is no interaction I can have that is an interaction other than the self with the self, the divine with the divine, God with God. Call it what we will. One, always interacting with itself in, through, and as the multiplicity of creation that it is. And so being it in form, each creation must contain the agency, that triune nature, that creative process, at whatever level it is designed to operate in each expression of itself. And so I claim that power, that process to prove, to move consciousness, to hold an idea that is creative, to energize it with the feeling of excitement, of love, to witness the demonstration of its manifestation in my life. Grateful. Grateful that the activity of law only knows yes, has already said yes, even before the words are formed in voice. Law receives the impress of desire, instantly operating upon it and making it so. And so I know it's already done. The mechanical law that responds yes to everything that it's given. That is infinite intelligence unfolding perfectly. So I know it's already done, and knowing it's complete, I relax, I let go. I let go of all doubt and fear. I let go of all the activity of second guessing. I let go of all of the ideas of settling for anything less than. And I open to life beyond my wildest dreams, and yet a life that reflects my wildest dreams perfectly. I let go, and I simply be. Ashe. Shalom. Aho. Amen. Amen. And so it is. Namaste.